Welcome back to the cryptowrld channel, everyone. My name is Josh, and right now Bitcoin is bouncing from this exact level of support, which means we've now just confirmed a new signal in the immediate short term that we need to pay attention to. So I'll be talking about that in just a moment, alongside Ethereum, which has also just now confirmed a new short-term bullish signal, while Solana is flashing the same signal right now, but not yet officially confirmed. So I'll be talking about all of that and more later in the video, so definitely watch to the end. First of all, just before taking a look at the Bitcoin and crypto charts today, taking a quick look at the US stock market, because this right here is the S&P 500 index on the 1 hour time frame, and we can see that right now we're actually starting to see a little bit more of a bounce in the immediate short term for the US stock market, which just in the immediate short term can of course help the crypto market. And so overall, we're still kind of lacking bullish momentum if we're looking at the last 1 to 2 weeks or so, but once again in the immediate short term with this slight little bounce just in the immediate short term for crypto, that is at least some good news right now. So just keep that in mind when we're talking about the crypto charts. And with that being said, taking a look at the Bitcoin weekly time frame right here, the Bitcoin charts today here on the weekly chart, at least right now the super trend indicator still sitting in the red, indicating a larger correction or a larger bearish market. And if we're taking a look at this weekly Bitcoin price chart, obviously we still have that massive bearish divergence to watch out for, which is technically still actively playing out. At least so far, this has not yet been invalidated. And if we're taking a look at this daily Bitcoin price chart, obviously right now the price of Bitcoin is bouncing from this exact level of support at around 85 to 86,000. So obviously, like I talked about in my last video, we were possibly seeing a break to the downside, but that never confirmed. Like I explained in my last video, we need to confirm a daily candle close below around 85,000 and then obviously fail to get back above that level. But for now, the daily candle closes are still confirming above 85,000, which means at least for now, we're still holding that as support. And so obviously continue to expect a lot of support in between 85 to 86,000. That is still holding as support. We've not yet broken that level. And as for resistance, if the price actually gets back up here, expect a lot of resistance in between 92,000 to 94,000 as a major area of resistance. So at least right now, the price is still to some degree in this sideways price range. We've not yet left this sideways price range between this support and this resistance, at least for now on the daily time frame. But once again, the bigger picture still not looking too good. If we're talking about, say, the next couple of months, for example, still kind of lacking bullish momentum despite seeing a short-term bounce from this point of support, alongside, of course, the stock market bouncing in the short term, helping crypto at least right now in the short term. And if we're taking a look at the shorter term price charts here on the 6 hour Bitcoin price chart, obviously just over the last 1 day, now that the price is bouncing from this point of support, we're now officially confirming a new bullish divergence just on the 6 hour time frame, with officially lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes and now higher lows confirmed in the 6 hour Bitcoin RSI. And if we're looking at one of the last bullish divergences we saw here on the 6 hour Bitcoin price chart, that was back here basically around early November, a little over a month ago, almost a month and a half ago. And what came next was a bit of a bullish relief over the next few days. Not necessarily a massive high momentum move towards the upside, not necessarily a trend reversal out of the larger bearish trend, but just for the next few days, we did see a bit of a bullish relief moving forward. And so especially while this is the case in the US stock market, remember crypto follows very similar price action to what the stock market's doing. So due to the fact that this is happening right now in the stock market alongside the new bullish divergence on the 6 hour time frame, it's likely that over the remainder of the day, we're going to continue a little bit more of a relief, and then this could possibly continue perhaps over the weekend while the stock market is closed. And then perhaps in the new week, depending on what the stock market does, if the stock market starts showing more weakness on Monday, Tuesday, etc., then of course that can also affect the crypto market. But just for the next few days, most likely over the weekend, I do expect a little bit more of a relief, either sideways consolidation or slight bullish relief for Bitcoin and crypto just in the shorter term, now that we have this new signal confirming. But obviously, as the price continues this shorter term relief, this slight bullish move just in the short term, we need to be aware of points of resistance along the way towards the upside where the price could possibly struggle at or reject from. Like for example, this line right here based on previous support, which has recently flipped into new resistance, and that's currently sitting at just above 89,000 at around 89.3k give or take. So expect some resistance around there on the price chart. And if the price actually confirms a breakout back above that level, ideally confirming a breakout back above around 89,500 to 90,000, in that situation, remember the next significant area of resistance is still sitting in between 92 to 94,000. And so overall, just for the next few days, I do expect once again a little bit more of a relief, but then expect struggle around these points of resistance, especially at that 92 to 94k area. Honestly, I don't expect a breakout in the next couple of days above that area, but it is possible we could move above 89k within the next couple of days, of course, if this bullish divergence is continuing to play out here. And so due to this happening right now for Bitcoin, and of course the stock market showing a little bit more of a bounce just in the immediate short term, I have just closed out of my XRP short position to pretty much break even, which I'll talk about later in the video when I'm talking about XRP, when I'm talking about that trading strategy. But of course, if you want to take advantage of any of these moves right here, whether it's bullish or bearish using long positions or short positions, then of course you need to be set up ready to go on a crypto exchange. And if you use the first link below this video in the description and in the pinned comment, that first link below this video will take you to this page right here where you can take advantage of some major deposit bonuses that are only available using that link. And on top of those extra bonuses, there's also a trade protection and recovery funds that you could also claim using the link below the video for a limited time during this event. And so as you can see here, if you're a new user trading on 2bits for the first 7 days of futures trading, you can get up to 200 USDT in trial funds as a loss protection. And on top of that, if your account saw total liquidations over 50 USDT during this event that's running right now, then you may also be eligible for recovery compensation up to 1,000 USDT depending on your liquidation. And so if you're going to be trading crypto anyway, this right here, which you can claim using the link below the video to 2bit, can help cover your losses if you're losing on any of your trades. And of course, you can get once again extra bonuses using that link below the video. And remember, 2bit is also a no KYC exchange. But if you want another option out there, another exchange that I also use as well, then there's also Pinex. So I'll also make sure to leave a link to Pinex below this video in the description and in the pinned comment. In fact, the second link below the video will take you to this page right here where you can also take advantage of major bonuses. For example, if you simply just make an account, complete KYC, you get a 50 USDT bonus on your Pinex account. And on top of that, if you deposit as little as 100 USDT, you get a 100 USDT bonus on your account. If you deposit 10,000 USDT, you get a $1,000 bonus onto your Pinex account. So basically a bunch of free money from the exchange, which you can actually use to go ahead to trade Bitcoin or other crypto assets if you want to over on Pinex. Not financial advice, but obviously if you're going to be trading crypto anyway or getting set up ready to go to take the next trading opportunity, you might as well take advantage of these bonuses. Once again, Pinex, second link below this video. But if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map just over the last 1 day, once again with this shorter term bounce that we're seeing right now, we're once again heading towards this short-term liquidity, which is sitting at just above 90,000. In fact, just under 91,000, really in between 90.8k to 91k approximately. We do have a small amount of liquidity in the shorter term building around there, which is obviously just above this line of resistance that we're running into as of recording this video, but still below this massive area of resistance in between 92 to 94k. And so this is why I said earlier that honestly, I'd not be surprised if over the next few days, over Friday or the weekend, we could see a little bit more of a relief in the shorter term. I'd not be surprised if we actually see maybe a little breakout back above this line right here in the next few days, but not necessarily breaking out above this resistance at 92 to 94k, considering at least right now that is still proving to be a very strong resistance. And if we're taking a quick look at the Bitcoin dominance chart on the daily time frame, we can see that right now, just in the shorter term, the Bitcoin dominance is still obviously starting to trend back in the bullish direction, forming higher lows and higher highs on the price chart, which overall is of course bullish price structure. This is indeed a shorter term bullish trend, which means a lot of the major altcoins out there on average will likely be underperforming Bitcoin. Obviously, there's always outliers when it comes to altcoins, so you can always pick and choose some altcoins out there that are doing better than Bitcoin, even if the Bitcoin dominance is bullish. But a lot of the altcoins, especially the major altcoins on average, will likely be doing a bit worse than whatever Bitcoin is doing, while the Bitcoin dominance is trending in the bullish direction. And so as of right now, that is still the case. Not much has changed over the last 1 day for the Bitcoin dominance. And if we're taking a look at Ethereum on the daily time frame, of course, Ethereum is following Bitcoin, stock market, etc., with the shorter term bounce, and we're actually coming back for a a retest of this important area currently acting as resistance, which was also previous support and also previous resistance. And that area, in case you're new to the channel, is sitting in between 3,000 to 3.1k. So expect resistance in that area right there, which as I recorded in this video, we're pretty much testing that area right now. And if we actually see a confirmed breakout back above 3.1k in that situation, the next resistance I'll be watching is sitting just above 3.2k, closer towards around 3250, and above that expect a lot of resistance at give or take 3.4k if the price were to actually get back up there. But once again, the immediate area of resistance to watch out for is still in between 3,000 to 3.1k. And as for support, we pretty much perfectly bounced from this support that I talked about over the last few days within 2750 to 2.8k. The moment the price dipped below 2.8k into that exact area of support, that's precisely where the price bounced from. And now that the price of ETH is playing out that shorter term bounce, this is now officially confirming a new signal on the smaller timeframes here in the short term, which is indeed a bullish divergence, confirmed now on the 3-hour Ethereum price chart, because obviously we've now confirmed yet another lower low in place in the price in the candle closes, while also confirming higher lows again in the 3-hour Ethereum RSI. And so obviously this is basically just an extension of the previous bullish divergence that was already forming over the last few days. Obviously we already had lower lows in the price, higher lows in the RSI, so we've just formed another lower low in the price and another higher low in the RSI. And as usual, a bullish divergence tells us we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or maybe just some choppy sideways price action as the most common outcomes, the most likely outcomes from a bullish divergence. So remember, a bullish divergence by itself does not guarantee a massive high momentum movement on the larger timeframes towards the upside, but it does mean expect just a bit of a relief, maybe some bullish price action in the shorter term, a bit of a break from the bearish trend, but not necessarily a huge reversal out of the larger bearish trend. And as I always say, Ethereum will likely follow somewhat similar price action to what Bitcoin is doing. So of course, if Bitcoin is playing out this shorter term bullish divergence, if of course the stock market's playing out this slight bounce, which it is doing right now, then expect something similar for Ethereum here in the shorter term. So most likely, like I said earlier in the video for Bitcoin, most likely over the weekend, we're going to see a little bit more of a relief. I'd not be surprised if that's the case just in the next few days here. And if we're taking a look at the price of Solana on the daily time frame, over the last one day, we technically confirmed another daily candle close below this important line of support, which was sitting at around $124, previously been very important support for the price of Solana. But now that obviously Ethereum, Bitcoin, stock market, etc. are playing out short-term bounces, once again, a lot of the crypto markets highly correlated. So this also is helping Solana with a shorter-term bounce right now in the immediate short term. And of course, like I already mentioned over the last few days, we did have some support that we should expect at roughly around 115, give or take, and within about $1 from 115 at around 116, we did bounce from around there, but basically just following Ethereum and Bitcoin with that shorter term bounce. But now that this is happening right now in the short term, this is actually forming in very close to confirming a new bullish divergence on the daily Solana price chart. Obviously, we already have lower lows confirmed in the price in the candle closes. We just need to now actually confirm this higher low in the daily Solana RSI. But considering I said earlier that I do expect a little bit more of a relief for Bitcoin and Ethereum, maybe over the next few days, over the weekend, it is very likely that in the coming few hours, in the coming 1 to 2 days, we're going to be confirming this bullish divergence on the daily Solana price chart, which is ultimately a signal telling us we're most likely going to see a bit more of a relief in the shorter term. So the next few days, maybe even the next 1 or 2 weeks, considering this is a bullish divergence on the daily time frame, not just on the 3-hour chart. But remember, a bullish divergence by itself does not necessarily guarantee a massive high momentum movement towards the upside playing out over many months. That's not that type of signal. It just means do expect a bit more of a relief, so either a slight bullish relief or at worst a sideways consolidation, so a break or a relief from all of the bearish price action, most likely now within the next 1 or 2 weeks is quite likely in the case of Solana. And in fact, right now the price of Solana is already starting to attempt to break out back above $124, which once again still technically needs to be confirmed with this next daily candle close here. But if this actually confirms and we continue a bit more of a bullish relief, it would be basically just breaking back into this previous sideways price range in between that support at around 124 and of course significant resistance all the way back up here, still sitting in between 143 to 147. So that would be the next massive area of resistance to watch out for if we do continue a bit more of a bullish relief in the coming days or weeks. And with that being said, if we're taking a look at the price of XRP on the weekly time frame, at least for now, despite what's happening in the shorter term, the weekly time frame honestly is still not looking very good. We're still having this massive bearish divergence active on the weekly XRP price chart, as I've already been warning about since months ago here on the channel, all the way back up here, warning about this multi-month pullback. So obviously the short-term situation right now that's happening on smaller time frames, at least right now, is not necessarily changing what the bigger picture is looking like. And so when it comes to my trading strategy for the price of XRP, obviously my last video I explained that I'm looking to have a swing trade to trade potentially a larger move towards the downside that could play out over multiple weeks or even months, considering obviously we're still playing out the much larger bearish divergence, which is a multi-month signal that's playing out. Obviously this is not a short-term signal, but ideally in order to actually start that next major move towards the downside, we need to see a break below around $1.80. So to be fair, I did actually jump the gun potentially on the entry for the short position for the next swing towards the downside towards these lower targets like $1.60 or around $1.30 to $1.40, considering we didn't actually technically break below $1.80, at least not yet. So for now, that is still acting as a bit of support in between $1.80 to $2. In fact, that's really the final significant area of support before potentially much lower prices, which is why I'm talking about a potential swing trade opportunity, not a short-term trade, but an opportunity to potentially trade a larger move towards the downside for the price of XRP, which is still on the table when we're talking about the next few weeks or months here. But of course, if we're talking about the shorter term situation on the smaller time frames, to be fully transparent with you, we do have some signals here that is basically one of the reasons as to why I've just closed my XRP short position, at least for now. Once again, I might look to open the short position again at a better entry point in the future, which I will be sharing here on the channel when I do that. And obviously I explained that in my last video. In fact, you can even go back and watch my last video. I said we do have a possible smaller bullish divergence forming right now, and if that forms, I said in my last video I might close the short position and open at a slightly higher price at a better entry point to still look to trade a larger swing towards the downside. And so at least right now, that's exactly what I'm doing. I'm just following what I said I would do in my last video if we start to form this new bullish divergence, which we are currently doing here on the daily XRP price chart. We have very, very slight higher lows, almost horizontal lows in the daily XRP RSI, which at this stage is looking likely about to confirm here. And of course, lower lows already confirmed now in the price in the daily candle closes. And so technically speaking, this is not yet confirmed, but considering the rest of the crypto market and the stock market experiencing this slight bounce in the shorter term, it is quite likely that this new bullish divergence is about to confirm on the daily XRP price chart, which means most likely in the coming days, at least, possibly even over the next 1 or 2 weeks in the somewhat shorter term here, it is quite likely now that we could see a little bit more of a shorter term bullish relief, maybe another test of some of these points of resistance towards the upside. But remember, the longer term or multi-month trends that we're still in is technically still bearish. So as I always say, understand the difference between the different time frames. So if we're talking about the shorter term situation on the smaller time frames, the next few days, the next 1 or 2 weeks is starting to look a little bit more bullish in terms of expecting just a slight relief, a bit of a break during the larger bearish trend. But the longer term situation, the bigger picture, still not looking too good. And so just to be fully transparent with you, not financial advice, once again, I am out of my XRP shorts position, but in the coming days or the coming weeks, as we're playing out potentially a little bit more of a bullish relief here, I will be looking at potential entry points, potentially around points of resistance to possibly jump back into an XRP shorts position, considering right now the bigger picture still not looking too good. It's just right now I do see potentially another opportunity for a better entry point, maybe in the coming days or weeks at a slightly higher price, considering we now have this new shorter term bullish divergence potentially about to confirm for the price of XRP. And as for resistance to watch out for along the way towards the upside, now that we're likely going to play out a little bit more of a relief here, expect some resistance potentially around $1.94 to $1.95 based on this previous low, but especially at around $2, really in between $2 to $2.05. We'll likely find a lot of resistance around there, and if the price actually breaks out back above that area with confirmation, in that situation expect a lot of resistance closer towards $2.15 to $2.20. And if we're taking a look at the price of Chainlink on the daily Chainlink price chart, at least right now we've also started to form, and not yet officially confirmed, but is quite likely about to confirm a new bullish divergence on the daily Chainlink price chart, considering we've already confirmed lower lows in the price in the candle closes, and we have clear higher lows still forming in the daily Chainlink RSI, but still technically needing to be confirmed here. But in a few hours from now, this next daily candle close, we could potentially now see one confirmation signal very soon to officially start confirming this new bullish divergence, which once again, a bullish divergence, like I've been saying throughout the video, means we're most likely going to see either a slight bullish relief or maybe just a sideways consolidation. So a bit of a break or a relief from all of the bearish price action, but not necessarily confirming a massive high momentum reversal out of the larger bearish trend. So remember, understand the difference between the different time frames. Shorter term situations starting to look like we're going to see a little bit more of a relief over the coming days, or in this case, if we're talking about a bullish divergence on the daily time frame, maybe even over the next 1 or 2 weeks. But if we're talking about the next multiple months, at least right now, we haven't really confirmed the end of this much larger bearish trend. And as for support and resistance to watch out for, obviously we still have a lot of support at give or take $12, which is pretty much exactly where the price bounced from based on the daily candle closes here at very close to $12. So still expect a lot of support around there. And as for resistance, expect a lot of resistance at around $13.30 to $13.50 approximately, as potentially a major point of resistance to watch out for, and also closer towards around $14.90 to $15. We have a lot of resistance around there if, of course, we first break out back above $13.30 to $13.50. And we also need to be aware of the risk of a possible head and shoulders pattern forming right now for the price of Chainlink. If we do see a little bit more of a bullish relief in the coming days, come back up towards this resistance right here at around $13.40, give or take, and fail to break out above that level, see a rejection from that level, come back down closer towards $12. In that situation, that would complete the formation phase of a head and shoulders pattern, which would be a bearish price pattern. And then we'll need to see a confirmed break below $12 to actually start confirming that pattern and confirming a new bearish price target. So just be aware of that possible risk of a potential bearish price pattern still currently forming right now, but not yet confirmed. But at least in the shorter term for the next few days, do expect a little bit more of a relief either way as a very likely scenario now that we have this new bullish divergence potentially just about to confirm here. And remember, if you want to take advantage of any of these trading opportunities in the price of any crypto, get set up ready to go using those links below this video to those exchanges if you want to claim the massive bonuses that are only available using those links. And if you want to actually know how you can trade crypto no matter what the price is doing, then make sure to watch these videos popping up right here on your screen. The video in the top left shows you how you can profit from bullish or bearish price action using long positions or short positions, and the video in the bottom left shows you how you can easily profit from choppy sideways price action. But anyway, that is everything that I have to say for today. I really hope you enjoyed, and I'll see you all in the next video.